Alright, time for the next beginner's guide. Today I will be doing Amumu against a K here, which interesting matchup wise. Early game I could be in a little bit of trouble due to like isolation damage. So yeah, I'm just pinging my team to communicate I'm actually starting over there. This is a beginner's guide, so this is going to be a lower rated game. I will be doing a beginner's guide every day at the start of the season here to basically cover all the champions. There is a playlist in the description if you've missed any of them. And, well, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of them. Alright. I'm pretty sure the enemy is just playing defensive. We have a blitz on our team. Generally, if you have a blitz on either side, that blitz is going to try to invade. So, I think they're going to play defensive. Nothing too fancy going on. Ka isn't that good in the early game, so while he could invade me, I don't think he will invade me. Since he needs his levels, he needs at least level 3 to be able to do something at all. And it takes him a little bit. Leash was kind of okay. It got quite low HP, so we're not going to smite it. Because at this point, like if it's not above 600, you don't get too much smite value out of it, so you just use it here instead. One auto attack on that one. There you go. This one we just let the W do the work. And the pet finishes it off. We're just gonna go for a full clear. That's all we have to focus on at the start here. Now, as far as Amumu's abilities go, W is just simple damage over time. You see the pool here. That's the distance for it. Just damage over time toggle that you can turn on and off. That's it. And then the E is... it reduces incoming damage, and if you get hit by like any type of like auto attack from monsters, minions, champions, doesn't really matter. The cooldown gets lowered by 0.75 seconds, yeah, and it just reduces the incoming damage from it, and you can just press E whenever. That is up. Q has 2 charges. It's pretty much just a giant like ranged skill shot that you can use. It stuns the target, and yeah, that's all there is to it. And then Amumu Ultimate's an AoE ability that stuns people while also applying his curse, and of course it does a lot of damage. So very, very basic kit, nothing too fancy about it. Yeah, finish the clear here. I do Grom first because I want a smoother respawn for my next jungle rotation, because this way the wolves won't, or if you do wolves blue, the camp will be delayed because it takes longer obviously to kill the Gromp at that point. Alright, so he is pushed in currently. We're just gonna try walking up. If it's warded, it's warded, that's fine. But I always prioritize the gank over the scuttle. It is indeed warded, so that's fine. We're just gonna sweep that because we do have a sweeper, and then we're just gonna do the scuttle. In this situation, you want to not queue the scuttle at all, because right now I'm in quite dangerous territory, and I have to be careful of the fact that Ka could fight me here. There he is. We also saw the Yasuo rotating down, so he walked into me solo here. This is fine. Make sure to use my W's to CC lock him, or my Q, sorry, to CC lock him correctly. I start out that fight by Qing him, getting the damage off, and then I use my... Wait, just give me 1 sec. Oh, there was a minion there. Okay. I start off there because what I did earlier, right, by saving both Q charges there, because I was in a risky position, I made sure I had both so I can stun him twice in that short duration, which I can then use that to my advantage. So I stun him first, then do a bit of damage, and stun him again. This is pretty free, actually. You just rotate down. They haven't warded. Lux doesn't have the most mana, so I got to keep that in mind here. Looks like we're just going to go for the Ezreal here. Nope, we're going for Lux. If I get hit by minions here, that's actually kind of good, because I get hit more often, which means my E comes up more often. There he is. In this situation, I had the aggro from a bunch of minions, so it actually benefits Amumu if that's the case. If there's a big minion wave, it actually kind of benefits Amumu because of that, because you just get those extra like cooldown reductions on your E, so you're gonna get a bunch of burst. Go for it then. Like, I'm literally waiting for you to hook him. Yeah, okay. I was standing on range to... Dude. I don't know, man. I'm not gonna walk up too far. I'm just in Q range. If he hooks him, I can Q him. That's simply what it was there. But yeah, there we just make sure we aggro the minion wave, so we get aggro from all the minions, so my E cooldown gets lowered and lowered and lowered, and I just get it off as quick and as fast as possible to get as many of these off, which will do a lot of damage over that duration. Okay, so I have a really good recall here. Generally speaking, if you don't get like an early situation like this, where you do get a bit of a lead, you just want to get a Bami Cinder in your first back. That should, for the most part, be affordable. Sorks after that. I mean, Sorks are amazing on Amumu, because Amumu's entire kit's magic damage, and with the extra magic penetration, it just does a lot of work. So that is something to definitely go for. We see the top side pushed up here. This should be fine. There is a ward here, but he just went in, so this should be more than fine. Just ult him, please. You would be so kind. That works for me too. Instead of going for my camp there, I walk straight to top lane because of his wave positioning. If you see this happening, you see the enemy top laner this far pushed up. At about 5 minutes, 5:30, there spawns a blast plant on these sides that you can use. So even if they have it warded, if they are this far up positioning wise and the blast plant's there, you can basically just skip the entire ward, because they're going to have to run so far back over that blast plant that's just not going to work for them, if that makes sense. So in this situation, I can use the plant to basically skip out on the ward that's in that bush because of that. And then because he's this far positioned up, there's no way he can run that far back, so he is going to die anyway, if that makes sense. Also, what you see me do there is I try to not use any max range Q abilities. I do not want to hit them from maximum range. I just want to walk it in as much as possible. Okay, so we see Ka top here. There's two things to note about that. The Bolt Scuttle recently respawned, so the likelihood of him having that's very low. I can probably just go for this. Send it. Make sure to not position myself in front of her. What I do there to kill the Cassio is I Q first, then W, auto attack E, then I ult, because then the QCC is going to time out, and then as soon as the ult CC is going to time out, I Q him again. So it's just a maximum lockdown. I would go bot lane here. However, the problem with this situation is that my Blitzcrank is like 10 HP. They are both full HP. And my Misfortune's in base. So the bot lane situation is not going to work out for me if I go for the gank there. Because of that, because I just used my ultimate to kill the Cassio. If I still had my ultimate up there, I could consider going bot lane. But because of the massive disadvantage, it would be essentially a 2v1 for me to win. If my Blitzcrank had full HP, or if Misfortune was there, I would have most likely gone for the gank. But because that wasn't the case in either situation, like no Misfortune, no Blitz HP, I really can't afford to go for that. Because it would be, again, a 2v1, which doesn't favor me, obviously. This is the same situation as before. Instead, now, Misfortune's low and Blitzcrank's in base. So the gank is just not going to be good. I'm just going to mute Blitzcrank here real quick. It's fine with me. Let's see. Pick this up for now, I suppose. Okay. If I had ult, those, like, the situations here are instantly fixed, because then I could win a 2v1 pretty easily. But without the ultimate, that's not going to happen. And I don't want to risk a death there, because I'm worth a lot on death. Especially because my camps are respawning as well. Which means I'll be losing tempo on top of the death, which is not good, obviously. So again, same situation here. Yasuo is pushed up. I could look for this gank when the Mordekaiser gets to the lane. I might. We'll see. I'm pretty sure he would have it warded. We check the plant first. It's not there. I will just hit this to go up with it. There it is. He has been warding constantly, so that's fair. We see currently a mid angle. That's pretty good. So we're going to hug the top side of this wall here to avoid vision from being in this bush. So she doesn't spot me from there. And then we just hug this, walk it in on Cassio. It's going to see me very late. Perfect. What happens with a Amumu Q, by the way, it's basically a buffer. So I walk straight face first into Cassio, right? The first thing she's most likely going to try to do is ult me. If I then Q, right the second she ults me, my Q will still go off because it's a buffer. It is basically like Tristana jump, for example, for those of you that know. Tristana jump, if you jump already, or like Ezreal E or something, and you get hit by something, it'll buffer and you still get the distance. The same thing works for a Amumu Q, as you saw right there. Max W second. We're gonna rotate top as quick as possible here to counter gank this, obviously. Hopefully he plays down towards me. That'd be great. Perfect. Something to note with Amumu, it works for his ult and his E. You can press ult first and then flash. Or you can press E first and then flash. It has like a little bit of a wind-up time. So you can use the ult to instantly get an ult off. If you flash first and then ult, there will be a delay on the ultimate. But if you use your ultimate first and then instantly flash, you have to instantly flash, otherwise your ult's gonna be bad. You will be able to get that off very, very easily. And it will surprise the enemy team a lot. They will not be able to respond to that at all, unless they flash preemptively. But if you flash first, they could potentially flash your ultimate still. The downside about that play is, though, that you have to realize how big your range is on it. Like, way in advance. So that is definitely something that you have to think about a bit. I mean, I'm putting in work. I basically have 100% KP. I mean, now after this, obviously not, but... Oof. I feel like I got lucky. I mean, I'm winning every lane. I've won top lane, I've won mid lane, I mean, bot lane's losing, but I can still fix that, you know, it's fine. Ooh, that's dead here. Ult's up in like 24. We're gonna go for Cassio here. Need to make sure I position myself in a way that I don't stand in front of her. Let's queue after her here. There we go. My main priority there is position past her the entire time as much as I can. He leaps away. That's fine. Not gonna overchase this because we have to realize that Ezreal and Lux are basically respawning. I do have my ultimate here and Yasuo is here. Interesting. Could win this probably. Wait for the ults. Amumu Q follows. We lock him down here, and then we just CC lock him with ult and Qs. That is the downside about Amumu Q for champions that try to dash away from you. Like the Ezreal tried to buffer it, like I was explaining before. He tried to buffer my ability. But because Amumu ult or Amumu Q follows everything, it doesn't work. Because the Amumu Q will follow the buffer jump anyway. It's like one of the benefits of the Amumu changes with the Q changes. Like they did a while ago. So that's really, really good there. No smite. We're gonna ping that out. Okay. Fine, thank you. Enemy team could have definitely had it. I need to respect Ezreal Lux more. If they had like well-timed combos, that could have been bad for me. Do not take this from me. Thank you very much. Good. That's not good, actually. I kind of trolled myself a little bit here. The reason I trolled myself is I need to use this Rift Herald to get plates quickly. Plates are worth a lot of money. Hopefully I can get this plate off in time. I think I will. It should get the bounce right before the plates went off. So I can get some cash out of that. Perfect. If you get the early Rift Herald, like the first one, at least try to get the plates out of it. It's very, very valuable. Let's not do this. That'd be a bit risky. No reason to risk that. Okay, Mordekaiser TP. GDK mid here, gotta respond. Pretty sure that ult's on cooldown, I was about to say, but it's not. I'm tanking minion wave here, so we get E cooldown quicker. That's one of the things I like make sure I do there is I walk forward to take minion aggression on the Mumu, because minion aggression gives you E cooldown. So because or like E cooldown reduction, of course. So because I did that, I got the E basically back instantly. Because yeah, you saw what happened right there. I made sure to position myself correctly for the Amumu ultimate as well, and then keep in mind with like facing a Cassio that I like make sure I don't get hit by her ultimate. I have to make sure I like look at the other direction or try to kite to the side or something, because Amumu doesn't really have any reason to directly face the target, really, because this is AoE, and your Q is just your Q, so you're kind of chilling on that one. But yeah, you don't really have any big reason try to face your target. So against the Casio, you can kind of just calmly chill and just dance around her, basically, making it as difficult as possible for her to land her ultimate. Alright, so my topside camps are up. Top Scuttle will be spawning as well. I'm gonna try to prioritize the Rift Herald that's gonna spawn. Amumu is insanely good at doing objectives. Especially like a Baron at 20 minutes. This champion will destroy that thing. Amumu kills Baron in like 10 seconds flat. 20 minutes in. 2 items. Sunfire Leandries. Baron's dead in 2 seconds. There's literally no problem. I'm a little bit worried that this Vlad would go for the Scuttle here, because it's still lower elos. People just take whatever they want and they walk past it. So I'm going to prioritize Scuttle and then do Gromp. Normally I would have just done Gromp Scuttle, but if Vlad walks past it and just does the Scuttle in the meantime, that'd be kind of bad, because it's a lot of XP I'd be missing out on. Okay, so now we see the K bot here, and this is a rule you kind of have to follow as a jungler. If you have a lead, try to, as much as you can, punish the enemy jungler. Take whatever you can from him. Any camp that's in his jungle that's up, you want to take. There you go. Q, auto attack E. The reason you want to auto attack first is because it applies the curse, and then you will do increased damage. So that's definitely something to look for. Right now we're prioritizing the fact that we can take K's camps, so we can start denying him a bunch. Rift Herald's gonna spawn in 20 seconds, so that will be definitely one of my priorities here. And then at 20 minutes, the Baron will spawn, and all I will have to do for that Baron to get it correctly is ask one of my teammates to tank it for me. Because what happens with Baron is that it will give a hand debuff here, which reduces the damage you do to Baron by 50%. And that's a colossal amount. Now, you might be able to finish the Baron without that, but it's just going to take much, much longer, and it's going to be a bigger risk. You know, like 1v1 situation with Baron, you will kill it. But the question is, do you kill it in time? Are you tanky enough to survive the Baron, or just like get it before the enemy team realizes you're doing it? So that is something to keep in mind. Dragon's gonna spawn in 30 seconds, so we're just gonna push out mid wave here. Also pick up the cannon real quick. There's no one to take it, so I might as well do it myself. 20 seconds on Dragon, so I have like time to do a camp here. Oh, alright, fair enough. It seems that K took my camp. I accept it. Cool. Walk over him. Mosey on over this way. Let's look down. Windwall down. That's all good. Right now, what you have to note here is I have Flash Ultimate ready to go. Flash Ultimate's an instant teamfight win with Amumu. So all I need to do is land it. If they are stacked up as like 2 or 3 people, you Flash ult or ult Flash, and it's just instantly over. Enemy team loses. I'm gonna go for Yasuo here. He is currently the furthest out of position. This is a pretty free kill. He's picking up the turret for like gold and stuff, which is fine. I was seeing if he was going to dash or ult me. If he does, then I can just CC-lock that a bit. Perfect. Okay, so before I recall here, ideally I want to get to my demonic, which is kind of close. If I could. Because if I can get the demonic right before Baron spawns, that'd be great, because that kills Baron like 30 times faster. Because of an additional burn thing. Let's pick this up. I suppose I may have to go mid. Walk to the bush here, so I have the extra move speed. He's gonna E. The question is, can I reach? Can't reach. Got lock CC'd. We see K recalling on top side. We know bot Scuttle is up, but we also know his bot side jungle has potential to be up, like his blue buff, for example. I do want to recall soonish. I still have a Rift Herald recall, so it's going to be quite quick. There is his blue, as expected. And then we check his Gromp. Oh. You bastard. Q follows, and he's dead. Alright, cool. He smited my thingy away, unfortunately. Okay, so all we have to do now is get the Baron recall in here. Buy the demonic. Mord. I just need one person to help me, or Blitz. Just make sure to communicate to your team, especially lower ratings. People will realize less what Baron does. I guess I'll kill Yasuo first. Max range that one. For killing. He's dashed. So we use the other Q after he's done a dash or a flash. Stay mid and just push. Alright. I mean, Misfortune does no damage here, basically. So as long as I don't have to tank the hand debuff. All this Baron damage is me, essentially. Like, this thing dies so fast just because of my damage. Obviously, Mordekaiser does something with his passive, but it's nowhere near compared to how much I do there. I guarantee you I did 75% of the damage to that thing. I'm gonna have to use this, actually. I wanted to show you it more in, like, a solo capacity. So without, like, Blitz or without Misfortune. Or both of those. Just with one person. Like, the Mordekaiser alone or the Blitz alone. But, yeah. Basically, the damage I did there was 75% of Baron's HP. Just how Amumu does things, really.
Come play with me.
My ult flash is still up here. God's gonna get the bounce. I'm like also looking at this, seeing how many people go to mid. It's a death. Oh, that minion? Oh, there was a minion in front of me? Really? Need to hit this turret real quick. That minion denied me very hard. Actually. Didn't have my Q up to kill him there, unfortunately. Still good. I still got a pretty good ultimate off. Not bad at all. Keep taking as much as I can from the car here. I'm gonna take my recall right now. We are very heavy on AP. So Abyssal Mask is going to be absolutely insane. We're going to pick up Abyssal Mask anyway. Because basically the way this Amumu build works is you go for as much burn as you can, right? Since Sunfire is no longer a mythic, you can go Sunfire into Liandry's, into like Demonic. And then you just build 2 tank items. Abyssal Mask is one of those tank items every game, basically. Unless they have absolutely no... like, if you are the literal only AP and they literally don't build any magic resist, I guess that's when you don't have to go for it. But that rarely ever happens. It is very, very rare for that to be the case, so... yeah. I did not want to smite that because the dragon was going to spawn soon, so I just had to accept the fact that she was going to get it from me. Pretty much. There we go. Just wait with the Q. See where he goes. Look at this dragon damage as well. Like, this number is not all the damage you do. This is like a small amount of the damage you do. A lot of people seem to think that when they watch my videos like that, that's all the damage you do to Baron as a Mumu. And it's like a fraction of it. It's only your W damage, basically, that is that number. And the rest of it just, like, stacks on top more and more and more. Go in. Just kill them both. I should be tanky enough to survive the Casio ult under turret, which I am. I'm level 16 as well, so... And as of right now, I'm not too much used to my team. So we're just gonna quickly yoink all his camp so I can heal myself back up if it comes down to it. Already did my job with a dive there with the ult. I still have my flash as well. Flash is one of the most valuable resources you have as a Mumu, so definitely try to make sure you use it sparingly. Because one ult flash or flash ult, or however you want to do it, generally ult flash, instantly wins a team fight. Like, literally instantly wins a team fight. So it's very important that you realize how valuable that thing is. And don't just waste it completely. There it is. My ult not up yet, though. Let's get this guy. Yeah. Badge. I could just look for any type of engage here. This would be fine as well. There he goes. He's gonna try to dodge my stuff, but it doesn't really work out for him too well. I should flash that because I'm a little bit too deep on the 2 turrets. Yeah, that was perhaps a bit greedy, especially for just 100 gold. Doesn't seem very worth it. Would probably not have done that one. A situation like that's essentially a flash waste. I mean, this case is not a waste because Obviously, I need to survive as a priority. Because I am worth 1,000 gold, which is a lot. And I'm also worth a lot of experience. So I definitely need to respect that a bit. And obviously use my flesh. But I shouldn't have committed to the Yasuo there because he's just not worth it. If that makes sense. It's worth more to hold my flesh and kill him right there. Let's get the Abyssal Mask here. Now, the last item on Amumu can be a bunch of things. Thornmail is generally a pretty good item that you can get, because obviously it has magic reflect damage as well, gives a ton of armor. If you need healing reduction, this is the item I would suggest you to go for, but they don't have anything I need healing reduction for, so it's not necessary. They don't have too much attack speed champions either. I mean, sure, they have like Yasuo here, but Ezreal doesn't really auto attack that much. It's like mostly Qs as well, so Frozen Heart's not too good in this situation either. It kind of like comes down to, do I need an extra armor item? If this is the case, I can just kind of split this and just go for the Stone Plate as like an overall tank item to kind of make up for it, since both of those aren't really amazing. But then again, picking up either of those two isn't bad either. Like, it's completely fine to do that. I don't understand why I would give a Mordekaiser a blue buff. That's just crazy. I just want to show one person. I just want to go for this. Okay, so we don't get the Baron debuff, which is good. Let's tanking that one. So now you can clearly... No. Just tank it. Oh, he still has the aggro. No, now it switched back. I'm now losing a lot of damage because he's not doing anything here. This is the debuff you want to avoid. That hand debuff cost me like valuable seconds. But you see how fast I killed Baron there. Vlad did nothing. He just tanked Baron for a while there. That's the exact example I wanted to show you. And yeah, just obviously you don't have to do this in your games. You don't have to get your teammates to do it like that. You can just do it with your team and be fine. But I just wanted to show you exactly how much ridiculous damage Amumu does to Baron. Okay, so now we just have to walk up for a Q hit. Get a nice ult hit here as well. It's fine. Perfect. That's all you need, those ult engages. And if I had flash ult there, I could have gotten a better position on it as well. And that's why flash thing is so valuable. But yeah. I mean, that's it really. Get the Stone Plate here. If you want to go more offensive with your lost items, well, that's also an option. I would suggest a Rylai's at that point, because then you will have a permanent slow on your W effect, which will not allow enemies to get away from you whatsoever. So you can just stick on them better, which would be a fine option as well. But yeah, that's it for Amumu. If you guys have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like button below. And, well, actually, let's go into the endgame stats here, of course. All right, so for the endgame stats here as well, I ended up doing 26.8k damage, which is the highest in the game. Flat came kind of close, obviously. Flat does a lot, especially with ult team fights and stuff. He gets a bunch of damage out of that. But we definitely did the most damage here. Very, very good. True damage is 3.3k. This comes a lot from your passive, of course, as well as just like using Blue Smite, but mostly your passive. So very solid damage there. Damage to objectives at 70.7k. This is absolutely ridiculous. This is like a lot of this damage obviously comes from both Barons. Like I got like 20,000 damage from both Barons together, maybe 25,000, something like that. So definitely a lot of damage there. Dragons on top of that. This is an easy stat to top on as a Amumu, especially if you prioritize those 20-minute Barons like I mentioned. People will not expect it for the most part. People do not respect Amumu damage on Baron. You just need one person to tank the debuff for you, as you saw. Obviously, at that point, I was fed, but trust me, that being that fat doesn't do anything for me anymore. Like, after your, like, Sunfire and your Liandry's, which should be achievable at about 20 minutes for the most part, and then with enough points in your W, you're just gonna destroy Baron anyway. It doesn't really matter what happens. It's gonna be quick regardless. So, very good damage here. Healing done, I mean, not much really. Damage taken at 29.5, which is the most actually, on my team at least. Self-mitigated damage at 29.4. And for the runes, Conqueror healed me for about 500, but obviously the adaptive damage for the extra damage, for extra AP and stuff is more valuable there. We have the Triumph for a bit of HP regeneration and also some gold. Legend Tenacity still, because it's the best one you can get for Amumu, and that 3 attack speed does nothing for you, and Bloodline does nothing for you either. But Conqueror is still the best rune you can get, so just take the Tenacity. Coup de Grace for about 700-800 damage. You can go for a last stand for the closer fights, especially in the early game, but it doesn't really do anything for Amumu later in the game at all, because Amumu's kit works in such a way that you have so much lockdown, and with this specific build, you literally just kill them before they can respond to you. You have so much CC. There were many situations in this game where I'm sure you could have seen where I just absolutely CC locked them and they were dead before they could react. That's basically what Amumu is. So you don't need to be tanky on Amumu, not really. You just need to do enough damage. You have to just have enough damage in this time frame. And with this build, you definitely do. You are still tanky, but within the CC lock time frame, they're going to die. Cheap Shot for the true damage there. Obviously, you have a lot of CC on Amumu, so Cheap Shot does a lot of work. If you do decide picking up a Rylai's, Cheap Shot's damage is going to exponentially skyrocket, because then you will have the constant proc for Cheap Shot on cooldown with your W. If you are facing more tanks, they will be tanking you for longer, and Cheap Shot can easily do like 3000 damage in a game if that happens. If you do go down that route. But Cheap Shot is a secondary rune compared to the Ultimate Hunter. That is basically the required rune of this one. The reason you want Ultimate Hunter is pretty obvious, I would say. Amumu ult's the most disgusting ult in the game, in my opinion. Like, landing that on 3 people on the enemy team is an instant teamfight win. Like, it does so much damage. It instantly applies Curse, which will mean that you gain your passive damage on it, which is essentially extra true damage. It's just a very valuable thing to have. The lower that cooldown can be, the better it is. So you definitely want to take Ultimate Hunter. It provides good ganks. It provides good team fights potential. And yeah, well, that's it for the Amumu video. If you guys have enjoyed this one, hit the like button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with the new beginners video. Bye.